So I think just time just helps you get through it. The thing is that you have to go through. They talk about the 5 stages of grief. You have to go through the grief. And you may do it consciously or unconsciously, but somehow you will go through those stages. And eventually, when you used to think about your loved one and cry, to reach a point where they become a memory, you reach a point where you smile, you reach a point where it will become a memory, you'll even reach a point where you forget.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Priscilla. For those who are tuning in for the first time, if you're just if a new subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. And if you're one of my diehards, like my day ones, like when we're like 7 of us guys, like I'm super grateful. Thank you so much for being here and growing this channel. I'm very excited about this. So today, another series on my on my 32 Amplified series. I'm hosting a friend of mine, someone I've also known since my high school, and just talk about a very personal story of loss and a personal story of grief and how she overcame, and just sharing tips for anyone who probably is mourning a loved one. So, Cathy, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Thank you, Priscilla.
So, do you want to introduce yourself and just tell us one thing that's unique about you?
Well, I'm Cathy. I'm a mom of one. I'm a wife. Actually, today is my anniversary.
Oh, yes. So, oh, my God. How many years?
5 years.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, I'm an auditor by profession.
Yeah.
I'm an accountant. I'm a bookworm, like someone said earlier. So, yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much for coming to this channel, and
thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm super grateful because we are going to talk about your story of loss, and I know it's a very vulnerable and very personal story, sure. And it's something that we don't talk about very often in our communities and societies.
Yeah,
I have lost a parent before, so I know the pain that comes with grieving a loved one and the loss and the times when you hit a milestone. And I just wish that your parents were there to see you. I wish my mom was there to see the YouTube channel and all these nice things. So just take us through your own experience of loss. I know you lost your mom, and just how has that been? How has that journey of overcoming and the grief and the loss?
Well, yeah, loss is loss. Yeah. That's the first thing I'll say. And no matter what you do, no matter how ready you think you are, no one ever prepares you for it.
Yeah.
And much as it's part of us, it's something that we know should happen to. It's a journey that everybody needs to take. We're never ready for it.
Never.
I personally lost my mom at a very tender age. And
how old were you?
I think I was maybe 9 or 10, one of those things.
Yeah.
And right now, I can't say I really remember the emotion and everything I went through, but all I know is that I remember the pain.
Yeah.
I remember the pain. I remember the first time I saw her in a coffin. I remember getting out of the car and seeing that coffin. That's an image that has never left my memory.
Yeah.
But like life is, pain is pain, loss is loss.
Yeah, like it's
here with us. Yes, it's here, and it's something, no matter how much you think you're ready for it, it comes and it just takes you to a whole different level of vulnerability.
Yeah.
My mom died when I was really young, but what I remember is that I remember the pain. I remember going through the emotion. I remember the tears, and then I remember also when my sister died. Same thing.
Yeah.
You just go through it, and it's a mess, but you have to go through it.
So did anyone explain what happened to mommy? Did you ever get an explanation, like mommy has died and this is why, and like what? Because you say you have lots of questions. So did anyone ever sit you down and say, look, Cathy, this is what's happening, to prepare you for life ahead?
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah.
The thing about our society, especially the African traditional society, I think no matter how much times have changed and everything, there are things about our society that are still the same.
Yeah.
And I think one of them is death.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, dealing with emotions on its own.
On its own.
Our society just shuns. Like, there's nothing like therapy, talking to somebody because you're in pain.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the thing about men and being told to be a man is a man. You can't
strong,
cry, you can't show pain. So I think it's the same thing. Even with death,
it's like a taboo.
Yes, someone dies and yes, but that's it.
That's it.
No one really
tells you how life is going to change.
Things just happen.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that I'm a believer.
Yeah.
And somehow there's a way in which there's that saying that time heals every wound. So I think just time just helps you get through it. The thing is that you have to go through. They talk about the 5 stages of grief. You have to go through the grief.
Yeah.
And you may do it consciously or unconsciously, but somehow you will go through those stages. And eventually, when you used to think about your loved one and cry, to reach a point where they become a memory, you reach a point where you smile, you reach a point where it will become a memory, you'll even reach a point where you forget. There was a point when I used to focus on the anniversary,
yes,
the death, the death.
Yeah, the times.
But sometimes now, like maybe how many years later, 30, 20 years later, I forget. I won't like really forget, but it's at the back of my mind. Something
Why
like that.
was it important for you to recognize that anniversary of your mom's death?
I think
at that time.
I think with grief, like I said, the stages of grief. You have to accept, first of all. You have to go through the pain. You have to go through whatever it is. So there's that point where the acceptance comes with, you know what, I lost this person. There's nothing I can do to change it. And eventually you get to that point where whatever you went through with them, whatever memories you have of them, is now something beautiful that you treasure. So initially, maybe it's to celebrate their life, especially that's what we do on like those anniversaries. Then you reach the point where I think you become thankful for them,
for their life,
for the things you went through
with
them, for the memories you hold, and eventually it just becomes a part of you.
Oh wow!
And I think that's how I've dealt with it.
And I remember in high school, like your kids, like parents would come and visit their children. You'd see kids with their mothers. And how did that ever trigger you? And how did you deal with that? Of course,
definitely, that's a trigger. And even as you get older, you become a mother, you become a father, you start your own family. There are moments you wish that you would have your parents.
I mean, like your first child.
Yes, my first child, my wedding. You look back and you're like, I wish they were. I remember crying like a fool on my wedding. I broke down. Of course, there are so many emotions that come with the wedding, but I remember that's one of the things that made me break down during my speech. But as in, yes, you will miss the person.
And there's no harm in missing them.
You hope, you wished at that point in time, you wish that they were there. But oh well, life is life, and they're not there. So the best you can do is embrace the moments that you shared with them. And hold the memories close to your heart. That's really it.
So, when you look through, I've talked to people who have gone through, who have lost a loved one, a parent, a sister, a child, and they talk about depression. So you are a very sunny character. You're always, everyone who knows you knows you've always been jolly. So how did you avoid sliding into a depression despite the loss that you've experienced? What do you think are some of the things that helped you?
I think because I'm an extrovert to begin with. I'm the kind of person who has my heart on my sleeve. I will.
So you'll just
when I'm sad, I am sad. When I'm happy, I'm happy. So I think dealing with the emotion. Because if you don't deal with the pain, the more you bottle it there will come a point where you'll explode. So I think for me, when I felt like crying, I would cry. When I felt like banging a wall, I would bang a wall. When I felt like yelling, I'd go and yell. So somehow I let the emotion out. I allowed myself to feel the pain. And eventually you reach a point where the pain becomes less and less. You go through those stages.
And through it.
Yes. And eventually you learn to smile through the tears. That's really it.
Wow.
It becomes a part of you that you're no longer negative. Okay, I won't say you won't be negative, but at least you learn to embrace it and live with it.
It becomes like so part of you.
Yes.
Because I know, like, I don't know about your family, I know that talking about death is a taboo in many people's families. And talking about people who have departed is like a taboo. Like, so how were you able to make your mother's memory a part of your day life? Like, was that space there? And if I'm talking about mommy, like, oh, mommy would have loved this because my mom loves flowers. So when I see my love for flowers, like, oh, like I get that from my mom. So is that something that in your family was a space, was that space created?
I wouldn't say, okay, it's half and half. My father's side, there was no chance like that. But my mom's siblings were really close. And we've been a very close-knit family on my mom's side. So somehow, even in our day-to-day lives, laughing, family gatherings, they would mention her, they would drink to her. Oh, let's drink to her. It's something that we do.
So her memory is very
present. Her memory, even up to now. Her sisters will talk about her. They'll be like, oh my God, you look like your mom. And then we laugh about her. we've even had loss recently, and they're like, oh God, now they're up there blasting.
Yeah.
So
how does that make you feel? Do you feel like she's a part of your life?
Yes, I feel like the fact that her memory is still alive, so many years later, it's over 20 years. I still feel like no matter the fact that she's not here, we still talk about her. We still know she was part of us. And yeah, I think that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. So my last question to someone who, what do you wish your family had done differently in helping you deal with the loss of your mom?
Honestly, I don't think there is anything I would change.
Yeah.
I know, of course it's hard.
Yeah.
The truth is blood is thicker than water, no matter how much you deny it.
Yeah.
And as orphans, many times we tend to get into this space where you feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah, the self-pity party.
The self-pity party. My God, that's like a given. Yeah. And remember, if you lose a parent at a tender age, you're going to go through adolescence. Exactly. You're going to go through all those things.
And there's all this sort of identity crisis that comes with not having your mom with you.
And then maybe what I think I could advise is therapy. Therapy is something that we need to embrace in our society.
Yeah.
And many a times, I'm lucky I'm an extrovert. There are introverts who go and deal with these things. We've had suicides. We've had kids who go through drugs and all those things because they're dealing with pain.
Yeah.
But maybe I was lucky that I had a chance to deal with it in an open way with a few people by my side. But there are those who don't. So maybe that. But otherwise, I honestly think that going through grief, whatever you go through, you need to, as an individual, like especially for young kids.
Yeah, for young kids especially.
We need to be aware. We need to help them.
I mean, because to them what's happening. Because I remember the confusion. You're seeing they're telling you mom is not coming back. Why? Where is she gone? Like, you're so confused. And then you just think life is changing. You're moving into different houses. You're like super confused. And no one sits you down and explains to you that, look, like mommy is gone, so you may need to do a certain stepping up and this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
So I think for me in hindsight, I would love to have that conversation with someone and explain to them how life will be different.
But you see that the problem with that, with our society is that many parents, okay, maybe it's changing with us millennials, but many parents didn't in our time, they didn't know how to have conversations with their children. Or even realize their food there, that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. So we need to normalize conversations about death. Because it's here with us.
And it's not going nowhere. Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, wow, Cathy. So thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming. I know it's a very personal and very touching story, but I've known you and I know being a mother and just seeing you thrive and prosper. I'm super, super very impressed. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for watching. If you're dealing with grief or loss or you've just been through so much, I mean, we have known loss at the deepest level.
True.
And what I can say is it's always very helpful to talk to someone. Seek professional help if you're in a dark place. Don't deal with this on your own. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and leave us a comment down below. Come back. Ciao.